Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest installment of the A. Ali series. Tonight will be special, a topic worth discussing. Introducing Ali the Prodigy in dun 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 A. Ali.
All right. Look. Stop making fun of me for my beautiful ass intro. I totally didn't put that I was live in Discord. You're right. I put it in there now. What you gotta say? Anyways, hello and welcome everybody to the latest installment of A. Ali, episode 5. Yes, this is episode 5. What is perfection? This is going to be an interesting one. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents on this topic. I think mine will be pretty short because I have a pretty strong stance on this. But whenever somebody asks me this question, I've gotten this question before. Whenever somebody asks me this, I'll say the same thing. I will say that, to me, perfection does not exist. But what I believe, this is just my personal opinion, is that perfection is also subjective. It's going to be completely dependent on who is calling said thing perfect. In other words, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's one of those things where it can be left up to interpretation so easily, so easily. You can say that a flower is perfect even though it's missing petals. You could say that a person is perfect even though they have vices. Maybe they're a drunkard. Maybe they're addicted to drugs. But in your eyes, they could still be perfect because they have that one thing, or maybe multiple things, that really, I guess, complete the whole of your being. Now, the reason why I thought this would be a really good question to ask is because I know that everyone else has a different interpretation of this topic. And I think it would be beautiful to hear everybody's interpretation of it. I can't wait. I honestly don't think I have too much more to say on this because the truth of the matter is I don't believe that there is such a thing as perfection, but we can always define what perfection is. And that's all I got. That is truly all I got. Honestly. Also, pineapple on pizza is perfection. Yes. But to somebody else, that would not be the case. I completely agree with you guys in chat saying this, though. That's a fact. We know that. All right. So without further ado, this is what I'm going to do. Everybody's going to get 5 minutes this time around, and subs will get to come on more than once, basically. They'll come on repeat times if they wish. Yeah, 5 minutes for everybody. We good? Good. All right, I'm going to go down to the on-call section, and we shall await who is currently in line to speak. Now, first in line, we got Mad Muzz. Mad Muzz is coming online. He's going to tell us what is perfection. Yo, Matt. Oh, hold on. I was deafened, sorry. Yo, Mad Muzz, what's good? Welcome to the A. Ali Show. How we doing today, man? Hello? Hello?
I'm doing great, dude. Sorry, I had my Discord muted, so I'm like, oh crap, I can't hear him.
I was like, oh shit. I was about to give you the countdown like 10, 9.
No.
He said no. He would have been Darth Vader in episode 3. Let me start. No. All right, fam, you ready? All right.
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
Let's do this. So, timer begins now. What is perfection?
Okay, so I 100% agree with everything you just said. So basically, yeah, there is no perfection. It's a human construct that was made up to give people the idea of like, oh, they need to reach a goal, but like to reach this goal, they want to see it as a perfect goal to reach, but like they can only just improve. So I like to a quote that I really like from a motivational speaker called Les Brown.
Okay, never heard of them, but I wanna peep what they got.
He's really good, really good. Yeah, Les Brown said he asked his audience, perfection is what? And everyone said, no, sorry, hang on. God, what's it called? Practice makes what? And everyone said perfect. And he's like, no. That's stupid.
Okay.
Stop, don't think that. And he's like, practice makes improvements.
I like
Which
that.
is, yeah, 100%. And the problem with perfection is, hey, I'm just looking at my notes.
Oh, go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. Do what you gotta do.
There's another a sentence that I read online when I was researching this. The conditioned state or quality of being free as possible from all flaws or defects, basically.
That's how it's defined in the dictionary, yeah?
Yeah. And basically, like you also said, is that perfection is different to everyone else. Everyone has a different view of perfection. One person might see something as perfect, while the other person will see that same thing as an imperfection. What else? Overall, humans, the human race, are an imperfect being, as we are.
Wait, why do you say that, actually? I'm just curious. Why do you say that they're imperfect?
Well, we strive for perfection, but at the same time, we sort of what's it called? We basically are very self-destructive in our behavior as well. We sort of cancel out what we're trying to do. Our minds are like going in two different directions.
Okay.
We're both. Hang on. I was gonna look at my notes.
Go ahead. Take your time. It's all good.
Okay, so.
Because I have questions for you too, but I want you to speak your piece.
Okay. So, what I think the problem is, as well, is that the media and Hollywood has made perfection a thing to strive for, but like it's a false thing. Like they make actors and all that look perfect. They look perfect, like photoshopped in their photo shoots on magazines and whatnot, and make them all look sexy and whatnot. And then people who don't know better, they go out and buy like products. They get plastic surgery. It's all about like that whole conspiracy of like the government, all that sort of thing, trying to trick people to just spend the money on stuff they don't need. They think perfection is a thing that's real, that you can get to that place, but you can't just by plastic surgery or find the way you are. Let's see. Perfection ain't real.
So perfection is not real then. That's like ultimately.
But like you said, it is in the eye of the beholder. Like perfection is. I can make, like, perfect is what you're happy with. Basically, you strive to improve something till it's to the point where you're really happy with it.
Okay.
I guess that's the pinnacle of perfection.
So do you think that's why they would call, I guess, something like heaven a perfect place, because it makes you happy all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the idea of it. Is like you die, you go to heaven, and it's a good place. It's perfect. There's no flaws in it.
So we measure perfection by how it makes us feel as far as happiness goes.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, but that's just like in the sense of.
So I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
So, have you ever seen Alien?
Yeah.
All right. So for the people that don't know, by the way, your timer's about to go out, but I'm going to ask you this in closing. So for the people that don't know what Alien is, I want to let you guys know that Alien is basically a movie where there's this creature in outer space that was created, like genetically engineered to be, I guess, the perfect predator, right? So this is what I want to ask you. The alien could be considered one of, if not the most perfect predator known to man. Let's say it existed, right? Now, obviously that doesn't make people happy, but does that does the fact that it doesn't make people happy mean that it is not perfect in what it does?
No, there's many different ways to interpret perfection. So perfection to an individual is what they strive for to make them happy. Another perfection is maybe people see how someone looks, their physical body. Let's example. I'll use you as an example. Some people might see and be like, oh, he's so fit, he goes to the gym, he's eating healthy. That sort of perfection of the body.
I'm blushing.
I'm just saying that
You're killing me, Smalls.
Not trying to feed your ego. Okay, no. So Arnold, you know, back in his prime, the way he built his body, that's perfection. Back in those days, to what he was striving for, like, and that's back in those bodybuilding days. That's how they judged in like how the Greek gods were built, because that's the physique that they were going for. So that's perfection in that way. But perfection like Alien, it's a perfect predator because it kills with such precise
Grace.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I guess you could call
and precision.
Chest burst is great. No, but like it's perfect. Not because it makes people happy. Obviously, it doesn't make people happy if they're gonna die from it. But it's perfect because in its own way. It's perfect because it's good at what it does.
Okay, so maybe that's actually a key thing, a key element. How good is it at what it is supposed to do? Yeah. I like that actually. Damn. All right. Cool. I gotta boot you because, you know, we went over time and stuff, but yo, thank you for coming through. If I don't know, are you subbed or not? Are you subbed?
I just subbed, dude. I just subbed.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you did. All right, clean. So that means you could come back in, man. So if you got anything else that you want to add, go for it. I'm gonna add like a couple more things after you're out of here, but thank you for calling in, dog.
No worries, man.
I catch you. So this is basically what I wanted to add to that. That was a really good point because that was something that I actually hadn't thought about before. How perfect something is could be measured by how well it does what it is supposed to be doing. So how well it functions as a being or whatnot. You could call a tree perfect even though it doesn't necessarily look the part because it does exactly what it's supposed to be doing all the time in a efficient way. You could also call a disease perfect because there's no cure for it and it constantly does exactly what it's meant to do. So perfection could be a good or a great or a good or a bad thing, I guess. At least what we define as perfection when it comes to the function that it holds. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next caller. All right. So we got the homie Shepherd Free in here. What is good, Shepherd? Welcome to the AI Lee Show. You are on episode 5. What is perfection? How you doing?
Ali, bro, what's up, man? How you doing?
Bro, I'm bulling, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nothing much, chilling.
So you just bullshitting like always. Okay.
Acting a fool. You ready?
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, clean. Let's get you started right now. What is perfection?
So I was thinking about it, and I'm always thinking like on the last episode, it seems like we're talking about simulations and shit. So the perfection that's the new game plus. Like you just play that over and over until you just get the game right. You know what I mean? Like so finally
take
you
no
get to
damage
move on to whatever the next thing is. Yeah, exactly. Like you play Bloodborne and you just don't get hit once.
Okay.
But I was talking to my ex about it. She's down here right now with my daughter, and I said, like, so to you, what is perfection? And she says Zoe.
Ooh, your daughter?
But that got me thinking like our children, our legacy, like how we pass on this knowledge and everything, you know, like that's how we're getting towards it. Like we're not anywhere near it yet because there's still some ugly shit in the world, but like your child, like if you raise your child right, that's as close to perfection as you're ever going to get, you know? Have your child out here doing the same message that we're doing. You should just teach them that message, you know?
I like that, but I do have a question for you.
Go ahead.
All right, so you use the word ugly shit in this world. Now, I want to ask you this. This is me just being a little challenger here, right? So my question for you is, ugly to whom, or to whomst? Because let's say, for example, that terrible things, what we would consider terrible things, was actually a very good thing in the eyes of some people. What would you say to that? What if that's what they considered perfection? Like a person like Thanos, for example, right? How would
I haven't seen that. No spoilers, please.
All right. Well, basically think about the ultimate tyrant. Think about the ultimate dirtbag, a terrible person, what we would consider to be a terrible person, and think about how they view the world. And let's say, like, I don't know, like Joker or something. Bad things happening is a good thing to this person. That is perfection to them. What do you say to that?
I guess it depends, like, what they're doing, you know? Like, are they, like, on some world-affecting shit, or are they on some very, like, minor scale shit, you know? Like, just...
But here's the question, right? If even let's say that everybody in the world was really, quote-unquote, good, right? Except for, like, one person, would the world be imperfect still? And would getting rid of that one person make the world perfect? That's tough, isn't it?
Got you. Yeah,
that's tough, isn't it? Because I've thought about this. What made me think about it was Death Note, that anime, Death Note.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
I'm
gonna let you think about that, because I'm thinking about it too.
We're gonna have to, like, form a consensus and gang up on that one person.
We all gonna have to squad up, like, yo, look,
we have, like, come together as a committee and decided.
Because the whole thing with Death Note is
fascism.
Because either way, you know what I'm saying? Like, either way, then what happens? You know, you get rid of the one bad person in the world, then what? Would it be perfect?
I feel like my idea was a whole lot more positive than what you're coming with.
I know, it's my bro. I had to hit you with the right hook real quick because I wanted to, because here's the thing, right? Because like the philosophy here is that what Reezy said, moral relativism, right? So it's like, yeah, we do have these ideals that we share, but there's people that don't share these ideals too. How do you approach that, you know?
Conversation and understanding, hopefully that gets it through.
Now here's the question: what do you think the middle ground would be for something like that?
Stay the hell away from each other.
Oh man, it's a tough question. Honestly, I don't have an answer. I just have more questions.
That is the answer. If you just cannot get along with somebody, you stay the fuck away from them. That's the only response. There she is again.
Hey yo, thank you for the follow, by the way. But sorry. Was there anything that you wanted to add? Because I had to hit you with a tough question. Because
I'm gonna think about it, man. I might call back in, but
all right,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll talk later.
All right, clean. Because I do want to talk about, like, the whole good versus evil thing. I really want to talk about that. But yeah, thanks for calling, dog. Seriously, appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, deuces. All right, so yeah, man, I had to bring up that point because it's one of those things that I think about all the time, right? We have these ideas on good and evil, on what is perfect and what is imperfection, but what happens when we achieve this ideal, right? What happens when everybody in the world, or almost everybody in the world, embodies what we call a good person, or a perfect example of a human being? What happens when it's almost there but not really? Or what happens when it is there, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. I want to present the question later on where we ask, can there be such thing as a utopia or a heaven, as Majai brought up? Because that's one thing that I really wonder about. I really wonder if we can have world peace. I really wonder if that's even possible, you know, all kind of stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to bring in the next person in line. We got DBVC John coming online. DBVC John, welcome to the A. Ali Show, episode 5. What is perfection? How are you doing? You are live.
Hey, amazing. How are you today, Ali?
Man, I'm clean, bro. I'm just chilling, asking really hard questions because I like doing that. I really like it, man. I don't know what it is.
Man,
But yeah.
I heard what you were just asking. It's a pretty crazy concept to think about in our reality.
It's tough.
At the end of the day, like, we have this concept.
By the way, the timer starts now, just so you know.
Alright.
Boom.
I feel like most people have this concept of perfection. Like, they think I think it's on an individual basis, but in all reality, if you're a motivated individual, is perfection ever really obtainable? I know from your bio you're in the animation industry. I myself, I used to be a developer.
Oh,
If
dope.
I write the leanest code, if I can get the page load on a super media rich website down to like 0.8 seconds through CDNs and everything else, I'm happy with it. But is it perfection? Even if I exceed every other metric out there, it can still be faster technically. So what? Yeah, this is actually an excellent topic, because I don't think there is a perfection. I think there's only what one person can be happy with in their accomplishments and their achievements.
Do you think we can ever be completely happy in our accomplishments and our achievements?
I think it's possible to be content and having the wisdom to know that, hey, I have excelled beyond what most others would typically achieve in this specific area, and I'm okay with that. Like, that's enough to satisfy me. But you're always going to have the movers, the shakers, the breakers that just they can never be satisfied. They have to do more. They have to achieve more.
I feel that. I do feel that on an emotional level, man. But shoot, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have any more to ask? Because I have questions for you.
No, go ahead.
All right. So what you brought up about creating the best code available, that's a super good point, because you could look at our society today, right? Imagine if you were to take a caveman, or hell, even somebody from the 1600s, and bring them into our society today. Can you imagine how beautiful this would all look to them? The fact that our hygiene is so tight, the fact that we live until we're like damn near 100 years old now, when they had a life expectancy of like 30, you know? The fact that we have transportation that can take us from one place in the world to the other side in hours, right? You could take somebody from that point in time and bring them here, and they would probably call this a perfect place to be. But we would be able to see everything wrong with it and how it could be improved. And so my question for you is, do you think we will ever reach a plateau, a point where there's no more to progress? There's nothing else to improve upon eventually one day?
I think that's a very segmented question in a way, because there's so many various things in life we can measure. The exact situation you just gave, I actually, when I was going through my degree program, I did a study on my great-grandmother, who, she grew up with no electricity in the home.
Wow.
She grew up riding a horse and buggy to go into town to go to the general store. And before she died, we already had smartphones in existence. So
She saw all that.
yeah, like,
Oh my God.
at such a young age, doing that report and speaking to her and really coming to terms with like just how dramatic and life-changing these technological advances were just in her lifespan, it really it was mind-blowing whenever you stop and think about it. I mean, I'll go ahead and age myself. I'm 34. So I grew up right when the internet was just starting to take shape, when we had 56Ks in AOL. And now I've got children of my own. My daughter can almost work um, my daughter can almost work my phone
Sorry.
better than I can. I'm not going to start the Apple Android debate, but
Mhm.
my daughter can operate my phone just as well as I can. She's 4 years old. Whereas I could have handed that phone to my grandfather before he passed, and he would have struggled through even trying to figure out how to unlock it.
Mhm.
So I really think in that regard, it really just depends on what are we measuring as a metric. Like for me, I think about the overall standard of living for
Mm.
people as a whole. So to me, for me to ever be happy and say we have a perfect world, I would like to see every person have access to clean water, to not have to worry about where their next meal is coming from. I feel like in a technologically advanced world where we have automation and we have technology that's just advancing by leaps and bounds. Oh,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish. You could go ahead. You got it.
okay. There's the big debate about technology, automation, and robots taking over menial production jobs and things of that nature in the very, very near future. The
Mhm.
biggest, one of the biggest employing industries in our nation, truck driving. Volvo and all these companies are now creating self-driving trucks. Like, I fear for what that's going to do to the workplace, to the economy of countries and nations as a whole.
Mhm.
But I think as long as the choices are made intelligently as we venture into those areas,
Mhm.
I think it's possible for us as a world to reach a point where I would be happy and say, okay, this is probably as close to perfection as we're going to get. We no longer see a third world nation where people are taking advantage and setting up charities and literally using someone else's misfortune as a way to steal and profiteer for themselves. If
Mm.
we can reach that point in society, that would be close enough to perfect for my taste personally.
Damn, that was beautiful. I really like that answer, dude. Damn. Okay. I mean, do you have anything else to add? Because I think you actually hit that on the head.
I come from very, very humble beginnings to get where I am today.
Mm.
I've only been around since last week, but I just want to say thank you for the Discord and everything, bro. I'm really digging the vibe here. Everybody, like, just your whole brand and everything you've created. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope there are more people in the world like you out there, brother.
Oh man, thank you, dude. You guys are gonna make me blush on this freaking stream, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. What I love about this show and what I love about this stream especially is the fact that all these people here are just so they're so great, man. They're so great. I it's just I feel like it's very human to want to find meaning and to want to find more with our life. You know what I mean? And I love exploring that. Like I really love exploring that. So
I'm drawn in by the positivity. I come from a beginning where positivity was not really a thing that very many people knew,
mm,
and it was a very dark and ignorant culture. And so, after I escaped that and became an independent thinker, I I strive to surround myself with people that have a positive vibe, that has a positive outlook, and especially on Twitch of all places, to find that community right here. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually pretty mind blowing.
bro, and you know what? Now that you mention it, I think part of thinking independently means that you start to think more positively because you have to basically find that positivity like within yourself. You know what I mean? Like you have to like you basically end up having to find where it is that makes you want to keep going without hearing about what other people are trying to tell you all the time, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, I told you in the Express Yourself channel, I've been self-employed for over a decade now,
Mm.
but I came from a background where I was consistently being told, you know, this, you need to go find a factory job. You need to go get a degree and go to work for a corporation, get a good job, provide for your family. And I scrimped, fought, saved, sometimes worked 3 part-time jobs in the process of trying to build my company up. And once it's a really funny divide. Once you overcome those initial founding stages, and you get to the point where you're bringing on employees and now you're employing other people, the people that doubted you the entire time, oddly enough, are typically the first ones in lines with their hand out. And it's like, wait a minute, let me just put this into perspective for a second here. Like,
let me factor this equation.
For 20 years, you told me you're never going to be anything. This is unobtainable. You can't reach that goal. Just turn around, go the classic route of society, work for somebody else, and punch a clock. And now that I paid the price, I made the sacrifices to achieve what I've wanted. Now you want to bear the fruits of that labor without adding anything to the like, what?
No, trust me, I feel what you are saying, bro. I feel you. I completely feel you. You hit it, bro. I'm gonna hit you with the explosion for that one, honestly, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta hit you with it for one time. Sorry, my guy. That shit probably loud as hell.
Actually, I have the Artis 7 headset, so I actually don't hear the stream at all.
Oh, okay.
It separates the basically the stream from voice chat.
Okay.
And it has a built-in mixer. But
oh.
Yeah, like this is something that really gets to me. Like I said, kind of on a personal level. Like, coming from a place of ignorance, at least that I consider ignorance, I have a very culturally diverse family, actually, and so just getting into the inside of how different people view the world and they see different things. Like, I can walk up to somebody who will look me dead in the eyes and make a racist remark. And I saw a quote the other day. I believe it was on a Facebook post even. And it said, "You cannot sit at the table. If you're sitting at a table breaking bread with 10 Nazis, you can't say you're there to try to make discoveries because you are the 11th."
Ooh. My heart. I saw my I saw my facial expression just now. That's hella gross.
But if you stop and think about that statement, how factual can that be? The way it was put to me, actually one of the last physical jobs I was employed with, I had a boss out of Atlanta. He moved up in the company very quick, and he was my manager. I was an assistant manager on the day shift, and he made a comment to me one day because I was quote unquote fraternizing with my subordinates after work.
Fraternizing.
Yeah,
okay.
But he made the comment to me. He said, "John, eagles fly with eagles. You'll never see one scavenging with the crows."
I like that. Birds of a feather flock together.
Exactly. And so whenever I read that comment about the Nazis, it kind of dawned on me, and I'm like, yo, this makes a lot of sense. You know, it's been said in a lot of different ways, but that's kind of always just been my kind of take on things. I surround myself with positive people. I surround myself with successfully self-built, motivated, and dedicated individuals that are able to look at the stereotype and what is typically expected of us by society and have the mental capacity to throw that out the window and drive for what they want in life. Because people like that, those are the people that are going to make the real differences.
And you're absolutely right, bro. We're going to... Sorry, let me stop. Foxy, yeah, she... No, I got reminded about the time just now, and I almost let it slip away real quick. But listen. I can't wait to talk to you about this more because I completely agree with what you're saying. So, trust and believe. All right, Clean. Trust and believe we gonna talk. But I'll catch you later, man. Thank you for calling in, by the way.
Yo, thanks for having me, Ali. Sorry, everyone else, for going over.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. We just talking, man. We just having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But all right, I'll catch you. Alrighty. So sorry, I forgot about the time there actually, but yeah, he was right, man. I think, man, This show is dope. That's all I gotta say. That's really all I gotta say. We're gonna go ahead and get Mad Muzz in once more. He just popped back in line. What is good, Mad Muzz? Welcome back. How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm doing. My mind's just blown.
What blew your mind? Talk to me. 5 minutes. Let's go.
That last dude. No. Just everything he said is just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to sound like the sadistic, put everyone down. I want to be positive, but at the same time, my life. I used to be so optimistic. After high school, I went into a new job. Everything was good, and I had high hopes for my future. Over the years, and it's only been 8 years because I graduated in 2010. Over the years, I've been crushed so hard that now my expectation of what I want has gone down, and I'm happy with it. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, my expectation of who I want to be.
Wait, what was crushed, by the way?
Everything, dude. My heart, my soul, my beliefs. Beliefs for one isn't that bad because.
Well, beliefs are important, you know? Like, sometimes people's beliefs are the entirety of their being, and if their beliefs get crushed, everything gets crushed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in my case, it was the fact that I've gone through so many beliefs that I just kind of want to find one that I truly believe in. Like, I never believed in one belief so strongly that, you know, it upset me if I found out it was fake. I just thought, oh, okay, so, all right, let's explore another belief sort of thing. But anyway, perfection, right? So when you talk about Thanos and that, the person that came to my mind was Hitler. So his idea of perfection, like he blamed the blacks, the Jews and all that for just a bunch of crap that was happening.
Yeah, for the world not being better.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, his idea of a perfect person is blonde hair, blue eyes. Was it? Yeah. So
the Aryan race look.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like he's someone with that much power and influence. Their idea of perfection made that terrible stuff happen, and it's like, and that's still not over. Like Hitler was just one of the most famous ones that it happened, but it's still happening to this day in other countries. You know, other people who think a certain religion is the perfect religion to believe in, or whatever. They always just push it on other people, and I don't think that we could ever have world peace, honestly. Like, I'd love it, but I feel like world peace would not be perfect in itself anyway. It's because it's too much of a dream. It's too unrealistic. Like, because if you would have world peace, you would need to go into that mindset of forcing people into it, because people will never agree to it. There's always going to be an individual or a percentage that doesn't want what everyone else wants. It can't ever happen.
So you don't think it? So I just wanna ask. So you don't believe world peace could ever happen because it is too good to be true?
World peace can't happen because for world peace to happen, everyone has to either be brainwashed into the same idea, or like to be convinced in some miracle way that to make them believe, like, okay, we can live in peace, we can live as we are, we can be different people, but we live without fighting or whatever. But there's always going to be a too big of a percentage, and to get that into the business that you want, you need to like either kill those people or enslave them or whatever, because that's what's happened in history. You know, I mean, again, Hitler, because people didn't agree, he lined them up and he got rid of them basically to achieve his ultimate goal. like, of course, world peace would be amazing, but it's like,
But what would be the point?
yeah, like there's so many people in the world, and I'm not trying to assume that everyone is evil, or like there's so many good people out there. There's so many good people like who can make small changes here and there, or big changes here and there, and all that. But ultimately, for world peace, I'd feel like it's. Oh my god, my dog's sorry.
Your dog has some shit to say too.
Okay. I'm gonna get up here. I have a timer. But basically. Oh my god. Hey! Come on. Stop.
Wait. Okay, bro, the dog's literally. The dog's literally.
Come back here. Oh, fine, go away.
The dog's literally went in with the timer, bro. It's like the timer went off and they went crazy, like.
Oh goodness.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me gather.
Okay, I'll finish. Okay.
Last thoughts. What are they? There we go.
I don't want to be cynical. I'm just like, because, like I said, my beliefs were crushed and whatnot. It made me start thinking this way. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Okay. But basically, I am always trying to be positive, and I love that I've found your channel because honestly, it helped me to find positivity and motivation to keep going and all that sort of thing. And I feel like, yes, now that I think about it, if enough people like you and other people who think positively and who can hope for world peace think the same, and it can cause a chain reaction, then yeah, maybe it can be achieved, honestly, maybe. I'm changing my mind now because I'm thinking about it. Like, it has to be a chain reaction of like for me finding you, it gives me more hope, and then maybe someone else finding you gives them hope, and then so on and so forth with other people. Then yeah, why not?
Man, thank you, dude. Yo, man, look, I don't know how to handle this, bro. Like, I can never go on the news or some shit and somebody mess up and say something nice. Like, I just be like, you know, but
it's
look,
true though, dude. Like,
I do believe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you trying to make you blush again.
Stop.
You do seriously make the world a better place.
Bro, thank you, man. I'm doing my best, bro. I'm really doing my best. That means a lot, bro. I just want to let you know, like, that really does mean a lot. Thank you, man.
And because of that, people like me and everyone else who's in here, who follows you because of who you are gonna start thinking the same. And that's why it's so good about these chats, is that all these discussions, either negative stuff, like, for example, me, just what I said, the whole negative thing of no world peace, to me just instantly changing my mind after having a good laugh because my stinking dog started barking. It took me out of that mindset. I'm like, well, when I think about it now, I'm second thinking, it could happen. I'm just saying, the reason I'm so negative about it is because I've met so many bad people, and that's what's wrong with the news as well. It's constantly negative. Like, today someone got shot, today this war is happening. You know, it's so negative. There's only a small percentage of good things that get reported on.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So it puts negativity in a lot of people, and that's I don't watch the news anymore because if
aliens didn't know better, they would think the world was a piece of shit if they just had the news to watch. Or even just fucking Hollywood stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
sorry. going off track again, but when you speak about, sorry for going over time as well, but
No, it's all good. You could make this be your last statement.
speaking about aliens, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he said one thing about if aliens existed, they probably have visited Earth, but they thought nothing of us because we're not intelligent enough and we're like ants to them, so they just pass by.
Yep.
So,
You're right. That's it. That I remember that. I should link that
Yeah.
in the Discord, or you can actually if you know what one it is. I forget.
Yeah,
But-
I'll look it up.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
look, man. Thank you for calling in, and thanks for having your dogs give their 2 cents too. That was really dope.
Oh, good.
I laughed like a tea kettle, but thank you, man.
All right, man.
All right, catch you.
Love you. Love all of you.
Love you too, baby.
I'll be in the chat.
All right, deuces.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want you guys to know, man, like I did not expect this show to have the impact that it did with y'all. Like I expected it to just be sort of like a fun show where we just talk about stuff, but like it is fun, but like dude, like to hear that this is actually improving people's lives, like I feel like this is actually important now, you know, rather than just being a sort of entertainment. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get Liquid Ninetales in, and then Kareem after, and then we're gonna have DBVC come in for the last word because we're gonna close things off after him. So 3 more people. Let's get it popping with Liquid Ninetales. What's good? Welcome to the ALE show. How you doing?
Hello, hi.
Hey, how you doing? What's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm booling. You ready?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. So now I gotta ask, what is perfection to you? Go. 5 minutes. What you got?
Perfection to me, I feel like the best example we have is nature.
Mhm.
And I would say that because what we learn is Earth is the only planet that we know of that can sustain us. It's the perfect distance from the sun where we won't burn up or freeze to death. The atmosphere just works for us and it helps sustain us. Why the water cycle, how rain just constantly keeps fresh water filled for us, or how the animals, like we have everything we need on Earth and it just sustains itself without any help.
Mhm.
And also, I would say like Hawaii, it used to be like a bunch of active volcanoes, but there you could find some like flora and fauna that you can't find anywhere else because the soil is so rich, but it came from something like a volcano, which is we consider very destructive.
Mhm.
Or how I live in Florida, constantly the Everglades like get forest fires, but that's also necessary to keep order, basically. So I think nature is the perfect example, like the perfect example of perfection. With its what we deem as flaws, like natural disasters and stuff, which can be very deadly, are also very necessary to keep everything going and sustainable.
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but I got stuff to say if you want to, if you're done, but just go ahead.
I have more, but I want to hear what you have to say.
So, if you guys don't know who Alan Watts is, you guys need to check him out. He is, I don't even know what category to put that man in. He was like a philosopher. He was a really great thinker, and he just spoke. And what he said was just always eloquent, and it sounded great. But he made this, he made a point when he was talking about chaos and order. He said something along the lines of, what is chaos on one level of existence is harmony in another. The battles that go on inside of your body day in and day out are the only things that are keeping you alive and healthy and able to enjoy life in the first place. Every war, every battle on the planet Earth, and every like tsunami, everything that we would consider as bad or as out of our control and evil chaos stuff, right? From a different perspective or from a bigger perspective, it can be seen as a level of harmony as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's like Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think
'cause-
nature or reality itself, you know what I mean? Like just how things work.
Yeah.
Like how all this shit works. The fact that me and you are two primates, right? That are not like just screaming at each other and wanting to rip each other apart. Jordan Peterson made a really good point about this. The fact that we are able to do this right here is a miracle. And I was like, damn, that's a really good point. You put apes together in a zoo and they don't do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a
Yeah.
part of nature. This happened naturally. All of this. So I guess that would be considered somewhat perfect, huh?
Yeah, I think perfection is like balance. You can't have good without bad or light without darkness. Like, although we don't like some of the bad things that happen in the world, I agree with what someone in the chat said. It's necessary for there to ever be good, or else are we really like humans? Are we very like, are we actually free thinking if everyone's good, everyone's light, there's no dark, there's no bad? Like, I don't think that's actually physically possible. Like things have to have a duality to it. It's necessary. Like there can't be light without darkness, so there can't be good without badness. So we can never have world peace because what is peace without like
War.
war?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I know.
it doesn't exist. It would no longer be peace. It's something totally different in that sense. If there's no war, there's no peace. So I think the duality of things and like contrast is perfection. Yin and yang is perfection because it's necessary for us to like feel good when someone does good. We have to see someone do bad, or else it just means nothing. It gives like good things meaning. So I think perfection is like with nature, with all of the things that we define as bad, like hurricanes and tornadoes. It's necessary. The bad is necessary for there to be good, and nature is the perfect example of that.
I'm gonna hit you with the explosion.
I can't hear it because I have this shit muted. But
The timer just went off, but listen. I literally typed arming explosive in the chat. But listen, yo. You are so dope for this, yo. Oh my gosh. Yes, I actually have a yin and yang tapestry hanging above my bed because I wanted it to be one of the first things that I see and one of the first things that I remember. It's yang. It's pronounced yang. Yes, yin yang, not yang. Yang.
oh, I even know
yin
that.
yang, yin yang. But yeah. Basically, I have that above my bed to remind me basically each day that this world, this universe, this reality, whatever it is, works with both sides of the coin. You know, you can't look at a coin and decide that it's only a coin if you can only see heads. You have to be able to see
Exactly.
both sides of it, and that's what makes it a complete coin. So yeah, thank you for that, yo. I hit you with the explosion. I'm gonna hit you with some out of the Ewoke emotes too. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, teeny. That's not the sound they make. That's what the Jawas make. Let me stop. I'm a Star Wars nerd, all right? But listen, thank you for calling in. Is there any last closing statements that you would like to present to anybody? Anything that you
No,
want to
not
leave them
really,
with?
because I'm just gonna get back in line because I still have more to say.
I was gonna close it off after DBVC.
No.
You have more? All right, we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
Okay.
All right, I'll catch you though. Thank you for calling. Liquid
Bye.
Nine Tails. Bye. She had a really good point. Nature, the good or the, it's like I want to do a show where we talk about good and bad. I actually think that we should make that the next question. Does good and evil exist? Or something along those lines. Is there such a thing as good and evil? You know, because I feel like that's a really good question that we should all be talking about. Because the root of all of our moral arguments come from whether or not good and bad are a thing, and who defines that and what defines that. So I think that's worth discussing. That's definitely worth discussing. And yeah, with that being said, we're going to go on to Kareem Cool. Kareem Cool, what is good, man? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? It is Ali, the Prodigy. You're on the Ali show. Hello?
Yeah.
What was that? Isn't that the second time he's done this?
I'll go check in on him.
All right. No, because guys, look, this is what happened. Literally, the last time I streamed, he was like, he wanted to be in the show, and we had him come in, and then I like answered, and I was like, hey, and then nothing, and I was like, hello? And then he just hung up, and I was like, okay, that's cool. So we're like, all right, dope, let's do it on this one. And then I hear a freaking fan or a dishwasher in the back, and then some freaking Mariah Carey in the background. Like, what's going on, dog? Anyways, let me stop. All right, so we got DBVC John once more, and here we go. DBVC John, welcome. You are back on the Ali show. You got more to say, I'm guessing, huh?
Hey, thanks for having me back, Ali.
No problem, man. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, timer starts now, man. What you got?
All right, so going back to the whole nature argument, I actually do have a question there. If nature is
For me
perfection,
or
then
for everybody?
I guess just in general.
Okay.
So granted, nature, as far as balance is concerned, as a whole, is or could easily be considered perfection. But if it's absolute perfection, how do we have species becoming extinct without human influence even? If it was perfection, would we have that happening?
You want my answer? I'm going to give you an honest answer on this.
Sure.
I would say yeah, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I say yes is because when we think about things in terms of life and death, it gets really easy to see death as a bad thing, right? But when we look at it in the terms of like the grand scheme of things, right? Like it's like what I was talking about with how like your cells in your body are constantly fighting and dying and being born again and stuff like that, because that's part of how it works, and that's part of the only reason that you're able to be alive, essentially. So when it comes to species and animals and even us, for example, if it came to our extinction, I would understand, you know, like it's kind of how it works. Like nothing can really last forever, and I think that's probably the beauty of it, to be honest. But yeah, I would say that that is a form of perfection, to me at least. I don't know about anybody else in chat, but what do you think?
That's actually a really good answer. And then I just want to take one step back to Muzz. Muzz, I want you to know, brother, that regardless of what hardships you face, like your goals, your aspirations, you almost have to be maniacal about them if it's something you truly want.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The world is a hard place. It's full of ups and downs, but if you keep the end goal in mind and you continue to work through it, even if you don't make progress some days, eventually you'll get where you want to be, and nobody can take that from you except for yourself.
Yo, thank you for that. I hope Muzz heard that too. If not, you know, just make sure to let him. I'll make sure to let him know. But man, that shows a lot of heart on your part, man.
Like I said, I came from a dark place. So
Yeah. Oh,
about
he's
as
there.
personal as I'm gonna get, I was in the armed forces, and I wanted to be intelligence. And due to my history and background, I was told that I actually fit the psychological profile of a serial killer. So I was
Really?
denied a security clearance.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What kind of
So, I
like?
mean-
Oh, sorry. I'm actually curious about that, because it's like I wonder what kind of tests they do for that kind of thing?
The majority of it was just because of traumatizing experiences I went through as a child. I was the product of abuse, of addiction, being thrown around a lot from place to place. And so I grew up fast and at an early age because I had to for the sake of survival. And
so it wasn't based on what you had done. It was based on like what they thought you could do because of what you had been through.
Exactly.
Wow. So they were trying to predict your future for you, basically.
Yeah, that's literally what it amounted to. Because of the severity of abuses I'd faced, and because addiction ran rampant in my family, they basically said, hey, that's kind of all you need for the perfect formula to be a serial killer. It was nothing more than a psychological stereotype. But if all those markers are there, I mean, it's no different than the personality test that they give you for pre-employment now. You know, I hate those things. I hate those things with passion.
Right.
Because it's like, you never know who's looking at the results, right?
Absolutely.
Like, when they ask, have you ever taken a pen from work? Well, that's a terrible question, because 99% of the people in the world are going to say, yeah, I picked up a company pen off my desk, put it in my pocket, and walked out of the office. Does that mean I think it's okay to walk away with $1 million checkbook? No.
No, it's a pen.
But there are people that I'm dealing with HR throughout my life. There are people that will read that question and see you answer yes and go, oh, he's a thief.
Jesus.
We can't talk to this person.
I didn't know that they did all that.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's actually depending on the person reviewing the results in this day and age, because some people will see you answer no and go, well, if everybody else would have done it, they're lying. We're not talking to them.
Either way, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
Wow. Nice vote of confidence. Jeez. But yeah, man. Did you have any closing statements that you wanted to give to everybody?
I kind of said everything I could think of, to be honest.
Well,
I kind of got focused on Muzz's information there, and just really wanting to know that anything in life is possible. You know, they tell you whenever you're growing up in most situations, they tell you work hard, study hard, play hard, and you can achieve anything you want to in life. The part they don't tell you, and the part where most people get lost, is that you really can do anything you want to do. It's gonna be very hard. You may have to crawl where others are able to walk and sometimes run, and you may have to crawl to make it past that point. But if you stay after it and stay motivated, you can achieve what you want out there.
I love you, man. For real. Thank you for that. Because that spoke to me too. So yeah, thank you for those words of life, for real.
I actually can't even take credit for, I guess, the overall ideology there. I linked some videos in one of the channels. They're from Henry Rollins, a guy from a very similar background to my own. He grew up in a very ignorant environment. He was the product of a world that told him, you can't, you can't, you can't. And he essentially used that negativity as motivation to achieve everything he's accomplished in life.
I love that. I want to learn more about. All right, I'm gonna chill in the Discord after this, guys. I'm gonna chill in the Discord with y'all. So if y'all want to sit and talk in the Discord after the show, then feel free, because I'm gonna do that like right after this show. But yo, man, thank you for calling in again, bro. Seriously.
Absolutely. And for the rest of everyone else watching, y'all have a great evening, morning, or night, wherever you are.
All right, dog. I'll catch you, man. All right, man. Look, I think I'm going to make it this last caller here. Liquid Nine Tails coming up for the sequel. But listen, guys, if you're in the chat right now, I just want to thank you for coming through. We're about to close things off. We've been on for roughly an hour. But I want to let you guys know that we will be in the Discord talking after the show. So if you want to talk, if you guys want to sit and discuss anything. Honestly, like, let's do it. I'm gonna be in the Discord for a while. I'm probably gonna go in there until I go to sleep, because I finished the commission that I was working on for today, and I'm really proud about that. So I'm gonna just spend some time with you guys. So be sure to join the Discord if you haven't already, especially if you want to ask something for the show. We got our last person of the night, Liquid Ninetails, coming in for the sequel. Liquid Ninetails, welcome back. How are you doing?
Hi, good.
Yeah, it's been like a whole not even 30 minutes, like 15 minutes maybe.
5, because the other person didn't even really talk.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it's like 5.
Jesus. Never talks, just comes on and makes me laugh. Like, I don't know. Sorry. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Liquid Ninetails, what is perfection? Go.
Okay, so the second point I wanted to make is that perfection, the definition is to be free of flaws or defects, but aren't flaws like what we choose to be flaws?
I agree. I absolutely agree. Subjective.
So like a flaw someone might have with themselves is like they're always depressed, or they have like anxiety, they don't like the way their body looks, something. They're not the perfect person that they want to be. But all these things that you define flaws, I don't necessarily feel like they're actually flaws. Or, like, I don't feel like they're actually bad things, because like the point I made before, I feel like it's necessary to be human. You have to have something you don't like. If you just love everything, like, I don't think there's anyone who just loves everything about them. Like, everyone strives to be better. So I don't think it's a flaw to have like something that you don't like about yourself that you want to fix. I just think that's part of being who we are as people, and I think it's necessary. So I'm kind of like want to make the argument, are most people actually perfect? Like, I feel like that's an argument we can make, since it's necessary. Like, you have to always grow. You can't be the same person you were when you were 5 or the same person you were when you were 15. So I feel like having those issues that you don't like about yourself are very necessary, and I think that's what makes humans perfect in their own way. Like, since it is like a perception, whatever you perceive perfect to be, I would argue that a lot of people are actually perfect in their own way.
I was just gonna say, in the great words of Missy Elliott, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Thanks for the follow,
But you're perfect for me. Let me stop. No, I get you. I completely get you. That's how it works. That's kind of how it works. We're all perfectly imperfect, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. Hey, fucking bars. Hold on, man.
Oh my god.
Let me write this shit down. No, but for real though, you're right. I feel like everybody is perfect in their own respect.
Have you ever read like a book on like a utopian society, like The Giver, or a book like that?
Oh my god, I have not read The Giver, but I know the Spark Notes.
Yeah, so basically, like, most of the time there's a book about a utopian society, a problem always arises, because I feel like it goes back to the stream, like, what makes a person human? Are you really human if you're like perfect? Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to ever grow. You don't ever have to learn anything new. You just came out and knew everything. You're kind of like an android. You're a robot. If you just know everything, you're a computer. You have no problems, nothing at all. Kind of not human. I don't think that's really human at all. I've never heard anyone who didn't have any issues at all. That's weird, because we also learn from failure so to not have any failures, I can't even imagine a person who doesn't have any failures. Even the most successful people, like, they said they failed so many times, and it's necessary to be successful. So how can you even exist without having issues?
So here's my question. This is from Mad Muzz, and I was gonna ask this same thing. So a perfect being is one without emotion? Question mark.
Well.
Shameless plug. Check out ALE episode 1. What does it mean to be human? All right, let me stop.
I don't think it'll be without emotion, because from what we've seen, like, about fiction, sentient life forms like androids and stuff can feel, but they're still like perfect. So I don't think it's without emotion.
Do you think emotion is a factor in what makes something function perfectly? You think emotions are absolutely necessary for something to be an entire being, you think?
Well, you're asking too many questions. Now my head, like, I don't even know which question to answer.
Asking all them questions. Hey, that's kind of my thing. Let me stop. Well, let me think. Is there anything that I guess you want to leave chat with? You have about 40 seconds, by the way. So I wanted to make sure that you got a good amount of
I just kind of
time
wanted
in.
to challenge people's views on what perfection is, because people always say like you can never be perfect, but I think in all my flaws and everything that is like perfection, even though I don't define them as flaws anymore like I used to, but that's just kind of putting like a negative like feel on it. But I don't feel like there's anything negative about me, even though there's things I want to improve. So I would say I'm perfect, as conceited as that sounds.
No, it's not conceited. You're just being real. You know what I mean? Because the truth is, the only reason we would say that we aren't perfect is because we were told that something was wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
I
why not be
completely
perfect?
agree. Exactly. Why not be perfect? I'm gonna get that on a shirt.
Hey, we might have to hold on a second. I'm calling it right
We
now.
need merch.
Right now. This is it. Why not be perfect? Slap it on the shirt. White letters or black shirt. Boom. That's it.
I'd wear it.
All right, clean. Now we know what we got for our merch for the first ALE. Not first ALE. The first merch for the ALE episodes. Boom. That's it. Thank you. You gonna get your name
Chat
written
agrees.
on it too. It's gonna be a quote. But yo, thank you for calling in today, Liquid. I always appreciate hearing from you.
Thank
Seriously.
you. I appreciate that you appreciate hearing from me.
Oh my gosh. All right, wait, stop. But Aisha, I'll meet you in Discord if you're gonna go in there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, clean. I'll holler at you.
Okay, see you there.
All right, bye. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. That was a great episode, man. You guys are the shit. Like, seriously, I love this. Seriously. So, I already know what we're going to talk about for the next episode. Are you guys ready to hear what the next episode's question is going to be? Because I think this is something that we're all going to, like, really attack. On Thursday, 8 p.m. PST, this Thursday, 8 p.m. PST, the question for episode 6 is going to be: is there such a thing as good and evil? Thank you guys for watching and tuning in today. I appreciate you guys very much. Next episode is going to be, is there such a thing as good and evil? Now, with that being said, this is your boy Ali. Let's get it popping in Discord tonight. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Subscribe, comment, like. Give me your thoughts. What do you think is perfection? And I will see you on the next episode. Catch you guys later. Thank you.